Today I found a very interesting article written by Ruth Irving Funk, and this lady is obviously very concerned about people that are being abused domestically. Our purpose here is to share something that is being applied to a lot of different scenarios nowadays, not just in domestic violence or torture of prisoners, but something that is being applied to entire population without them knowing it at all, because they don't even know what's happening to them. So I would like to make sure that we are first going through the 8 different method of what is called the Biderman Chart, which it's a tool designed to demonstrate and explain the coercive method and method of stressing a person to the point where they collapse. And it's been used to torture prisoner of war, and it's been applied to the to explain the coercive techniques used by perpetrator of domestic abuse. And now we're going to see that it's being used on really entire population. Because these methods are not obvious to everybody, I want to just make sure that it's pretty easy to recognize. And the first thing that we have to do to recognize something is to talk about it and say it and open the dialogue and then face it before we can even find ways of improving or changing. So this list is quite short. It's actually 8 different methods that are being used by people as a method of violence, but it's not a necessary, or usually not a physical violence. It's a psychological violence. So where do we start here? The general method goes like this. The first thing is isolation. And this can be consisting in 3 forms. Depriving of we're not going to talk about the details right now. I'm just going to say the 8 points, and then we'll go further and analyze each of the 8 points. Isolation, number 1. Number 2, monopolization of perception. Number 3, humiliation or degradation. Number 4, exhaustion. Number 5, threats. And number 6, which is very interesting, occasional indulgence. Number 7 is demonstration of power, of omnipotence, and number 8 is forcing trivial demands on the person. So let's go now that we know the method, let's go in and look into the effects that is wanted and the purpose. The isolation, it's very simple. It's basically depriving the victim or the person, wherever they are, even if they don't know they're a victim, but it's happening very often in domestic violence, as in the case now of a general population. People don't even know what's happening to them. That's why it's really important to have this conversation. Isolation can consist of 3 forms. Depriving the person of social support, which effectively inhibits that person's ability to resist. If you know that you have friends, if you go into a gunfight, you're going to bring all your friends with you. If you go anywhere where it's dangerous, you don't want to be by yourself. And so when a person is alone and when a person is isolated, does not have a way of communicating with other person or socializing or getting their emotional support by way of either, physical embrace or by way of being next to a person that is there to help you, isolation is the first thing that makes this torture, this psychological torture, really terrible. Another thing is to make the individual dependent on the perpetrator. If you're isolated, you have no way of knowing what's going on, you have no way of fending for yourself, and so you are now depending on the person that is holding you prisoner or is holding you stuck in that situation. Number 3, developing an intense concern with the self, because when a person is at the mercy of someone else, and they really are very concerned with not only themselves, what's going to happen to them, they can't think about other people, and they also are concerned, not concerned, but they're always thinking, what is the other guy going to be doing to me? What is his next move? What is he going to come up with? How bad is he going to be today? And it's a very, very detrimental way of thinking. The purpose of isolation is to make the victim dependent. So it could be complete solitary confinement. You are by yourself and you are not even allowed to talk to anyone. This happened to a lot of older people that were in old age home that are not tech savvy, not on the phone, and all of a sudden figure out that they cannot go out of their room, not even to eat, not even on the wheelchair, and they're stuck there in their room. That isolation has been really murderous to this kind of victims. I call it a victim because it's a victim. So it could also be group isolation. You within a family member or family, and you cannot go anywhere, and you're stuck, but you cannot be with other people. And we've seen some children actually really being so stressed because they could not interact with their friends, they could not interact with their family members except the parents or the siblings, if they do have siblings, and that has been a tremendous bad effect on them. So that's the first, that number 1. The number 2 is the control, the monopoly, the control or distortion of perception. When you're being fed 24/7, whether you're listening to the radio, TV, movies, advertisement, radio advertisement, you open your phone, you open your computer, and the only thing that is being sent to you is that same information again and again and again and again. It's what I call brainwashing, basically, but it fixes the attention upon this immediate predicament. You can't think about anything else, and it fosters introspection. You're not thinking about anything else, and it eliminates the information that is not agreeing with the person that is providing you with the information you are being submerged with. So there is this data that is being pushed onto your mind and understanding, and the rest is completely taken away. Now we even see that even if you dare say something against, the data that is being pushed to you, you being completely, shut down. So it also, the control of this distortion of perception, it also punishes action or response that demonstrate independence or resistance. For example, if you say something that is not according to the narrative that the person who is coercing you wants you to hear, if you go against this, so now you're being punished. You're being punished by having your account taken down. You're being punished by being isolated, or your friend shutting you down, or family member shutting you down. You're being treated as all kinds of names, and this is totally this control of perception. And also, you have to understand that the abuser manipulates by being charming and seductive, by saying that he's doing this for your own good, because people are dying and they want to protect you, therefore you should really listen, because this person is not really looking to have any bad intention. So the manipulation of being charming and wanting your good, and then becoming hostile when the demands are not met, like if you do not go along with what I am telling you and what I want you to be fed, then you're gonna be punished. So this is extremely detrimental, because it fixes the attention of the victim on the immediate predicament. It's not seeing the large picture, like how many people die this year, how many people die on any other year. Nobody is giving you that data, because that would enlarge your view of the situation. When you see that there's no more people that died this year than any other year. But it also inhibits the person's ability to hope and to plan, to figure out what else to do that would be a better idea, or to resist. Like some people say, don't resist, just do this, just wear your mask, just obey to the thing. There's no point. And that is the monopolization of perception. That's exactly what is happening. It also eliminates the competing stimuli, which reinforce the omnipotence of the perpetrator. And it also frustrates action that are not compliance with what you're being asked to do. In other words, if you are trying to do something else, now you're going to be attacked, you're going to be shut down, you're going to be abused, you're going to be put away from your social circles, and all of that is called monopolization of perception. Another thing, the third thing that we want to talk about is the debility and exhaustion. We all know that all the measures that have been implemented are all measures that are actually depriving a person of boosting their immune system. If you do not socialize and if you get depressed, your immune system goes down. If you do not have physical touch, your immune system goes down. If you do not go outside, get your vitamin, your immune system. If you do not exercise, your immune system goes down. So if you stay indoor and do not see bright horizons, whether it's a city walk or whether it's mountains or countryside or whatever, and if you're told to stay in your house, all these things are inducing exhaustion. It's moral exhaustion, it's mental exhaustion. Hearing the same bad news again and again also put down your immune system, and the victim now becomes worn out by the level of tension and the level of fear, and by constantly attempting to read and figuring out what is it that they wanted me to do now, what it is that I'm supposed to be doing to obey, and simultaneously they avoid expressing their rage, their fear, their sorrow, and so therefore the perpetrator is actually keeping the victim in check. So that's the inducing fear, inducing debility and exhaustion, and also being treated like somebody who is, we're telling you what to do, don't do what I'm telling you, and I know better, and all this kind of thing is really, really debilitating on people's morale. The humility and degradation. So it makes the resistance more costly than compliance. In other words, we are now concerned on things that are basic human rights are being taken away from people, and they're not going down to animal level, because actually you will not see animals wearing masks, even though in my opinion all the dogs have COVID too, but nobody's telling you because COVID is everywhere. But this thing of doing things that are humiliating, since when do we go around with our face covered? Since when do we go around people and cross the street as soon as we see another person walking in our direction? Since when do we see a child and move away from the child 6 feet away because the child is not wearing a mask? Since when are we behaving like this? If you would have seen this this a year ago, you would have thought people are crazy. But right now, because people have been manipulated and coerced to do these things, this is what's happening. People are trying now, it's becoming normal. It's just like, exhaustion. People don't want to fight. Okay, we'll do what you want. Okay, we'll close. Okay, what else can we do? We have no more money, so our business is shut down. So what do you want me to do? I'm just going to listen and get the money from the government. And this is how I'm going to manage. So the dependencies increase because of the exhaustion. And you need to be extremely strong to resist people. There have been a few people resisting. They've been put in jail, they've been attacked, they've been, thrown on the ground. But these people are actually showing that their humanity is more important than this torture, this psychological torture. Then there is something, we talk about threats. So the threats create anxiety and despair. And the threat is like this. Instead of you being told, okay, this is going to happen today, you being told next week we will let you know what we are deciding about your fate. And so these are threats because something is coming. They're not telling you this to give you some nice features. They are telling you this to prepare yourself so that the bad thing is coming. And people have stopped going shopping a week before they actually need to stop shopping because this is the fear that is being put in them, that it blocks their mind. Actually, we know that fear actually damages the logical mind of the person. But the threats also outlines the abuser expectations and the consequences for non-compliance. In other words, if you do not close, you will be put in jail. If you do not wear this, you will be fined. If you walk around after curfew, you will be arrested. And this kind of thing is a total system of coercion. Again, as I call it coercion because even though the person seems to be nice to you every once in a while and looks like it's for your own good, it's actually a form of despotism and coercion. Now, demonstrating omnipotence and superiority or power, this is something that is going to show to the victim that there's no point resisting. There is no point trying to do something else. You will not win. You will be vanquished. And this is something that when you see a brutal use of force, when you see 10 policemen going around to make sure that everybody is wearing a mask, when you see people with guns and seek trying to manipulate a population into not walking in a certain area, it is just coercion. It's absolute coercion. Another thing is exhaustion. I think we talked about exhaustion, yes. The abuser uses sleep deprivation to keep the victim in a state of confusion. This is not sleep deprivation always like they do in jail or they do now. They will do sleep deprivation. In other words, it's not just the sleep, but it's also a relaxed attitude, a mood of comfort. You are under constant tension and you're under constant stress. That is another form that is used so that the person who is being coerced just listen to orders and be compliant. There is one more point that is occasional indulgence. So this one is really interesting. It provides positive motivation for conforming to the rules that are being imposed on you by the abuser. Like if you do this, I will give you something nice. So occasional indulgence in, for example, domestic violence would be the abuser come and give a hug or give a present or come up with a flower or something like that. In this case nowadays, when when people are being given a little bit of little tips of what shall I say, like a little candy, like a little carrots, you know. If you listen carefully and you do what I'm telling you, I will let you be open until 7 instead of 6 o'clock. If you do what we tell you to do, you will be healthier, which is absolutely not true, but that's the thing that they dangle in front of you. Or if you do this one thing, we will reward you. We will give you money. If you stay home right now and close your business that you worked for very hard for a very long time, we will give you some money. We will give you this amount of money, just like that, for just being compliant. So this indulgence really increases the person's ability to be compliant and obey to orders. And another thing is that we've seen a lot is forcing trivial demands. When that's to develop in the person a habit of compliance, it's the enforcement of rules. For example, right now we're going to be asking you to if you are in the swimming pool, so you do not have to wear a mask. But as soon as you step on the steps of the pool, now all of a sudden you do have to wear a mask. If you're standing up somewhere, you do have to wear a mask. If you sit down, you do not have to wear a mask because supposedly you're eating, but even if you're not eating, you're sitting down talking with your friend, that's okay. So all these trivial things that absolutely make no sense whatsoever, like why do you have a subway being full of people and you say nothing, it's fine, but you do not let people inside a store and you limit the amount of people that can come inside the store. You do not limit the amount of people that are going into the subway, but you do limit the amount of people. So all these different things that are happening that makes absolutely no sense are just there to force you into this craziness and realize that now the craziness is the new normal and that you have to listen to it. So as I said, the reason why I'm making this video is for people to first of all understand what's happening to them, if it's happening to them, and also to understand that this is something that is happening worldwide to 100 million people, hundreds of millions of people, that if you understand what is happening to them, then you can really feel for them. It's not their fault. But again, what's happening to people is one thing. Our responsibility is to think for ourselves and to be conscious of what's happening. And the first thing to do is actually to put it down. And that's the purpose of this video, is to put it down for the record, what is going on. Sorry, so that we are going to really be very clear about what's happening, share with other people. Again, you can find this chart of Biderman, this 8 different methods of torturing in a psychological way, torturing people so that their mind is not functioning anymore the way that it's supposed to function. So have pity on people that are being caught in this and share with others that want to figure it out, so that once you realize what's going on, you'll be able to act on it and you'll be able to make a change. And I wish you a lot of success in making your next move for your change. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to the channel. I'll be very happy to hear any comment you have to say, and I'll take any questions you have. Thank you so much. Bye.